may have noticed by now that I'm really fat. And that's okay. You wouldn't be the first. Back in '97, when I was in 7th grade, I heard a question posed about me in the locker room of my middle school. I sat hidden in a bathroom stall, hunched over, not wanting to give myself away, when I heard a girl ask, "When was the last time Whitney saw 90210?" I was like more of a Saved by the Bell girl myself, and I'd actually never seen an episode of 90210, so I clenched my muscles and held my pee and waited with bated breath for the answer. And when it came, when she stepped on the scale, the girls erupted into laughter, and I felt the familiar sting of embarrassment seeping into my cheeks. It took me back to my 5th grade year on the soccer field, where the boys had taken to singing a song about me called Baby Beluga that ended with, "She's got a whale of a tail." You might be picturing now how fat I probably was. It's easy to conjure up a mental image of an awkward girl spilling out of her shorts, running up and down the sidelines like, "Hey, I'm open!" But if you have that mental image, you would be wrong. Because in 1995, when I was 10 years old, I looked like this. And when I look at that picture now, my heart aches, because when I was just becoming aware that I had a body and that other people had opinions about my body, I became a statistic. Like 8 out of 10 10-year-olds who today are afraid of being fat. 10-year-olds, that's a real statistic. I bought the lie that diet culture sold me when I was 10 years old, that told me if I am thin, thinner, thin enough, then I will be happy. thing from happy. And so the emotion that I most connected with my body was shame. After that, shame followed me like a shadow. And after the 90210 incident, I knew I had to take action. So I grabbed the handle of my father's toothbrush and shoved it down my throat until I vomited, and thus began my nearly lifelong battle with eating disorders. I continued to excel in school, to play sports, to dance. Shame and I won lots of awards and trophies. Sometimes shame was like a really overbearing adult begging for a piggyback ride, and other times shame trailed a few feet behind me, dragging its leash like a faithful dog, never leaving my sight. By the time I was 18 years old in 2002 and becoming a young woman, shame had solidified itself as my most faithful friend. It accompanied me to every dance performance, to every soccer tournament. It was even there in the bathroom with me at my prom as I hunched over a toilet and threw up my dinner just minutes before being crowned prom princess. When I moved to college that fall, I brought shame along into my dorm room, and I noticed that my body was changing. By the time I went home for Christmas break, I'd gained 50 pounds. And I'm thinking, like, okay, I'm an overachiever, so clearly the freshman 15 is just not enough. I was getting mysterious bruises all over my body, and I was like, why am I bumping into doorways and furniture? When did I get so clumsy? But then I realized I wasn't clumsy. My body was expanding so quickly that I had lost all kinesthetic awareness of it. My body literally didn't know how to fit in its physical space anymore, and similarly, I didn't know where I fit in the world.